Hi, today on Catherine Learns Stuff, I'm going to walk you through how to make these cute snowflake curtains. So, let's jump in. For my snowflake curtains, all that I'm going to need is some blue and white paper. I'm using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I'm going to need some matching blue ribbon. You'll need quite a bit of this since this is going to be for a curtain. And then I'm going to need some crafting glue as well. So I'll cut this in my Cricut and then we'll be back at my crafting table. This Christmas I've been doing a lot of snowflake decorations, and so I thought it would be cool to have some snowflakes on curtains. So what I've done is I've created some snowflake curtains, and if you go to my website, catherinelearnstuff.com, you can find my snowflake curtain post, and this will take you to my post where I walk you through all the supplies and how to do it. And if you sign up for my newsletter here, free snowflake curtain SVG, I'll send you a copy of the file that I've used for these snowflakes. But if you don't want to use mine, you can use any snowflakes that you've got available. So once you've gotten a copy of the snowflakes from me, you can simply upload it into your Cricut design space by selecting upload, and you'll need to upload the image. I already have it here on my desktop, so I'm going to select it with the green box around it and add it to my canvas. Once this gets imported onto your canvas, you'll notice that the sizes might be a little bit off. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to ungroup this so that we have 4 different snowflakes. And I've designed them in 4 different styles. Now that they're all ungrouped, if we just select our align button and center them all amongst each other, you'll notice that they're about 5.25 inches in size. We just need to change the size. For this project, I've made them 3 inches big. So now that they're all going to be about 3 inches in size, some are a little bit bigger, some a little bit smaller, but that's the general idea. And so we're going to have these 4 snowflakes. What I've also done is I've duplicated this. So I've selected all of them and I've duplicated it here. And I've made 6 copies of it in total so that I have 24 snowflakes. You can make as many or as little as you'd like. Also, another option is instead of having 4 different snowflakes, you can just select one snowflake that you like and then have that cut out as many times as you'd like for your curtains. So we're going to select Make It now, and we're going to send this off to our Cricuts to get cut, and then we'll meet you at my workstations. So I've cut out my snowflakes from my snowflake curtain, and of course after the fact I realized that I've probably done this the wrong way. I think I may have gone overcomplicated again, but I think that seems to be the theme for my Christmas this year. So again, I'm using the same snowflakes that I used for my Christmas garland just because I'd already designed them and I didn't want to make more. And I've got sort of the thin 5, the thin 6, the circle 5, and the circle 6. They got the circles on the ends there. And each piece has a background for it to match with. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue each piece onto the next one. These are all sort of symmetric, so any way you rotate it, it will fit onto the correct backing. You'll just notice that the ones that are thin snowflakes have sort of a bubble here, whereas the ones that have the circles at the end have a circle on the end of the white backing. If you wanted to make this more simple, I guess, for yourself, I would suggest that you only use one type of snowflake, but I've used 4 different kinds just to make it more exciting and give it a little bit more character when it's all hanging up. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to glue each piece onto the backing, and then we'll be back once that's all done. So now that all of our snowflakes are dry, it's time to start attaching them to ribbon. Now, depending on how you want your curtain to look, there's a few different options that we can do. You can have them spaced, like I've only got 20 of these printed off, but you can have more or less, but you can have them sort of offset from each other when they're hanging, like in this kind of a manner, so that they're kind of staggered. Or you can have them all in line, but you can have sort of different ones in each line. So you could have them sort of like this with a different one in each line, or you could have them all in the same lines, all the same ones. Or if you're just using one type of snowflake, it doesn't make a difference. So there's lots of different options that you can have. The one thing that I'm going to say is that when you're making these into your curtains, we're going to need our glue gun for this, and you're going to want to figure out what kind of spacing you want. So I'm going to want kind of 6 to 8 inches. Let me show you here, 6 to 8 inches between centers of my snowflakes so that they're a little bit off and that there's space in between them so that it's not too jumbled with snowflakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my ribbon and I'm going to start to glue on the back side, a little dab of glue, and have ribbon between each of my snowflakes. And I'm going to sort of stagger them any which way I can find a snowflake that fits where I want it. And I'm going to slowly glue this whole thing together, and I'm going to do 4 rows of 5 roughly, so that I've got enough to have a nice little piece of curtain for this. And also what we want to make sure is that at the top of our ribbon we have about 8 inches or so of just plain ribbon that's not going to be used, so that we've got something to attach it to later for the final assembly of our curtain. And we also want to make sure that our ribbon is straight through the whole thing, so that we're not going to have our snowflakes twisting, because we're only doing a snowflake on one side. You can go back and add another snowflake on the second side if you'd like, but we're just going to do it on one side for now. Now that all of my snowflakes are dry on the ribbon, I've lined them up next to each other, but I've sort of offset them so that I've got this set of snowflakes filling in the gaps of these other snowflakes, so that it's a little bit more full in a sense. So with all of my snowflakes aligned over on this side of my workstation, I've actually marked off here with tape 6 inches in between each of the snowflake ribbons, and that's where they're going to be attached to my other ribbon, so that they have a nice even spacing when I put them up onto my curtains. So I'm simply going to take some more ribbon, and I'm going to leave a little bit of slack on both sides so that I've got something to attach it to. And I'm actually going to glue down this ribbon onto each of these 4 spots with my glue gun. And I'm just going to trim off these ends so that I don't have so much surplus on these leftover ones. So I'm quickly just going to put some dabs of glue here on my back ribbon so that this all stays together. So now that the glue is on the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll this a few times so that this back ribbon, so that this top ribbon here gets a little bit of a roll and stays on a little bit nicer. I'm going to roll it 2 times around, and then I'm just going to put another dab of glue to hold it in place again. And now that my glue is dry, I'm quickly just going to tie a knot into the ends here so I have something to loop onto my curtains or onto my door frame so that it's ready to be hung up. And now our snowflake curtain is ready to be hung up. I'm quickly going to hang this up onto my curtains in our living room so that we can have a more festive holiday. And there you have it. Your snowflake curtains are complete. I've listed a link to all the products that I've used in this project in the details below, as well as a link to the SVG file that I've used for these snowflakes. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.